bottle and a putter. Drive a ball farther than you've ever been on vacation. I love to play golf, and I don't ever have to pay for a cart. I just have to tip the guy who pushes me a little extra if there are a lot of hills. People are always surprised when they hear I play golf. Oh, well. Really? Well, what's your handicap? And I just stare at them.
The way you're reading the news,
it seems like a surprise to me.
It seems like it's news to you as well.
Here we go. Where do you get that from?
Well, I mean, I just don't understand. It seems to me you get to work at least an hour early.
Oh, if not more, yeah. Sure.
Okay. Why wouldn't you read it over so
right.
you familiarize yourself with it? And so when you tell us, you have some clue about what's going on.
You would almost think that would be a requirement of the job. You would think that would happen. So I'm not sure why that doesn't happen. Maybe I'm just trying to make it sound natural, so it doesn't seem like.
Well, we can get to, there's a lot of people we could get to do that.
Well, maybe
we don't need you to. Don't we want a polished newscaster, Dagan?
Well, he's more concerned about his appearance, so that's part of the polish, ain't it? Of course, he is on the radio.
You look pretty good this morning. Thank you, Dagan.
Yeah,
appreciate
you're welcome.
That.
Does he have his shirt unbuttoned this morning? Or?
Do you?
I got some flowery collar on, if you like that.
I asked Dagan if she thought you were going rogue on us, but.
And I said, hopefully you're an emerging exhibitionist. I'm dying to see your belly button one of these days.
Well, give it time.
I didn't need to hear that.
No.
Why? I'm kind of curious.
How do we get into these conversations?
What a weirdo Dagan is.
Really, I'm telling you.
I don't even know where to start.
There's nothing to say after that.
No. Well, that's
Imus sent me that email. I think it was on Saturday, and so I actually thought about it all weekend.
Belly button on a Saturday. I like to see your belly button Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday for those of you who speak English.
Could you get more weird than Dagan?
The Dagan English translation.
You are really the weird. You're the single weirdest person I've ever met in my life.
But Lou makes a good point. Some of the comments, there's nothing we can do with it afterwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, Imus in the morning.
Now I'm looking at the, not only today, but I'm looking at the guest list for this program for next week. And how the hell do these people get on? Who okays them? I guess I do.
Who are these people?
Doug Brinkley, well, we like Doug. I do.
Right.
Then you do too. We get pretty good numbers, man. Yeah. He's written a book called The Nixon Tapes. He's transcribed the Nixon tapes. It's unreadable.
That's a good promotion. There we go.
Oh, my God.
Stay tuned for Doug.
Do you want to know what Nixon? Who cares what he said? I mean, and then there's a guy going to be on Wednesday. His name is Richard Hopple.
Hopple.
And somebody else. Somebody's name I can't even pronounce.
Richard Hopple and somebody else.
From an outfit called USA Cares. Who the hell knows what that is?
USA Who Cares?
And then Hampton Sides. Now, Hampton wrote a couple of books that I really like. He wrote one, I can't remember what it was, something about some Indians or some Native American deal. And then he wrote the Hellhound on His Trail, the Martin Luther King book, which is fabulous.
Right.
Now he's got a new book. It's up in a hacienda. It's called The Kingdom of Ice. I was looking at it yesterday. I said, you couldn't put a gun on me and make me read this.
Not going to happen. Right.
You know what I am reading, though, is Slaughterhouse-Five again.
Right.
Kurt Vonnegut.
Good.
I have a drawing that Kurt Vonnegut gave me that he did. I have it hanging in the house down in Texas. I didn't know him that well. I know a little bit. Now, this woman by the name of Noelle Nikpour.
Right, it's our first guest this morning.
Does anybody know who this woman is?
Well, sure. You've had her on before.
Yeah.
You've had her on this show before, yeah. You've interviewed her. In studio.
I have?
In the studio, I believe she was here.
She's a Republican Party operative, quote-unquote, bundler, and also a fitness competitor, believe it or not.
Just like the I-Man.
And it's pretty attractive lady.
I rode my stationary bike yesterday out here to Ranch for 6.2 miles.
There's my point.
I'm never doing that again.
Never doing it again.
Oh, man, the sweat was pouring off. What are you, nuts? Well, why was she on?
She's very hip to the political world. stuff that's going on. Plus, she's from Arkansas. She has a particular insight into the Clintons. With all these books coming out and new revelations of Clinton's various mistresses.
Well, I must have liked her, I guess.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I did like her.
Yes, you
liked
did.
Well, okay, she's back on.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Keep your man away from Lloyd Rothman today. The girl got the red dress on.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Watch out. I'm on fire.
Yeah.
Morning.
How are you?
Hanging in there. Not too bad. How are you doing?
Well, it's not. We're not going to have a conversation here. You just answer the question. Don't worry about how
Yes,
I
boss.
answer.
One-way street.
I am
Imogene
fine.
Lloyd Webber, Michael Riedel, and Dagan McDowell are going to do the Hollywood and Vine stuff. And then I was thinking about Congressman Peter King. I was like, how come he's not on anymore? Because he's pretty much a dope. But
Here we go.
is he still your congressman, Bernie?
He was, redistricted out of my particular area. But in spirit, he's my congressman. Long live the king. That's what I'm saying.
So I do like him, and he's going to be on. And,
Protecting America.
then Andrew Dice Clay is in this morning. We'll talk to him about, I'm not sure what. Doesn't make any difference. And Bob Dole, who used to be on this program all the time, is 91 years old today.
All right.
Wonder what kind of shape he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're 91,
Happy birthday,
Exactly.
war hero Bob Dole.
think he has any idea what's going on, or
Yes.
I don't.
He does. He suffers from some physical ailments, but
Well, of course.
the mind is there, sharp as a tack.
And Don Henley, one of my favorite rock and roll voices ever. I don't know that I'd want to have to hang out with him. I think that would probably be pretty tedious.
Be
But
too much, yeah.
I think Mojo Nixon probably was right about Don Henley.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 67 today.
All right.
And then I was watching anything happen in the world, Connell?
Well, they've released the black boxes, those rebels or whatever you want to call them over in Russia, and the bodies, which we talked about yesterday. They're on their way back to the Netherlands where they'll be identified. So that's basically what's happened there in Israel and Gaza.
I mean, I have the option of calling them whatever I want. You said rebels or whatever you want to call them.
You know, some go press.
So now are you leaving it up to us,
Yeah, you go do it. You come up with something.
the audience,
Yeah.
to come up with a name for these people?
Well, you want to call them separatists, rebels, you know. Some people
Drunken
have different-
savages.
Drunken, exactly right. So people have different takes on it, you know. It's not like it's an official army over there.
Okay, but you would think that if we're going to do the news,
Right.
that we should decide who these people are and then so identify them and not make it the audience's job
Oh, I see.
to
Right.
have to identify these people.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we take a vote and we'll do it now. I'm going to go with
Well, we
pro-Russian.
don't have to take it. It's not a democracy on this program.
Well, I'm going to go
We're
with
going to do
pro-Russian
what I
rebels.
want to do.
Well, which one's your favorite?
Drunken savages. Don't you like that, Bernie?
That's my vote.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's as objective. Well, okay, drunken savages it is.
Well, we're not worried about being objective.
I see. We
No,
decide.
this is not a deal where we report, you decide. That's Fox.
Nuh-uh.
We decide.
Even though
you-
we're on Fox,
Right.
that's not what we do.
This is fair and unbalanced.
Yes, fair. And we decide.
Big time.
First of all, we decide.
That's the first thing.
And then we report. But we only report what we want to report.
Got it.
Easy.
That just makes it a lot easier when you think about it.
My wife sent me a link last night. I got up this morning about a Vietnam veteran in a wheelchair was in a Lowe's home improvement place, and his wheelchair broke. And the people at Lowe's, 3 of the employees, fixed it. Dropped everything they were doing and descended on the guy, put him in another chair, fixed his chair.
Pretty good. Very good.
I'd be loving me some Lowe's. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Nice to hear.
Damn nice.
A good story. Yeah.
All right, back. What are these drunken savages doing now?
Well, they've released the black boxes and the bodies of the victims from the downed Malaysian plane over in Ukraine. So you have over 250 bodies heading to the Netherlands for identification. They've also, both, the rebels and the Russian government continue to deny that they shot down the plane. They've blamed Ukraine all along, but Samantha Power, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, is not buying that line of thinking.
But if Russia genuinely believed that Ukraine was involved in the shootdown of Flight 17, surely President Putin would have told the separatists, many of whose leaders are from Russia, to guard the evidence at all costs, to maintain a forensically pure, hermetically sealed crime scene.
That certainly did
When
not
did we
happen.
get the babe over to UN, Bernie?
About 2 years ago.
Susan
How
Rice.
is she?
She's good. She's okay. She's fine. You know, Samantha Powers. She's kind of way out there on the left, but she's doing a halfway decent job, by all accounts.
Right. Okay.
She just recently got a lot of credit for being more passionate reacting to the down plane than the president.
Well,
If that's any.
that wouldn't take much. Oh, that's really embarrassing, wasn't it? Yeah. All right, come on, Connell.
The Israeli soldier reported this morning to be missing, and this as Israel continues to hit targets in Gaza. So far, the diplomatic efforts from Secretary of State John Kerry and others don't seem to be having much of an effect over there. The death toll in Gaza topping 570 as of this morning, 27 on the Israeli side, 25 soldiers, 2 civilians. Back here at home, Texas Governor Rick Perry announcing he will no longer stand by and wait for Washington to respond. Instead, he has ordered as many as 1,000 Texas National Guard troops to be deployed along the border, trying to stem the tide of illegal immigrants who are pouring in.
I will not stand idly by while our citizens are under assault and little children from Central America are detained in squalor.
Perry calling this Operation Strong Safety. Currently,
Why is he really sending them down there, Bernie?
To try to stop them from coming across.
Oh.
Yep. Symbolic. They're not allowed to arrest anybody.
Right.
But maybe their physical presence will stop some of them from coming through.
Sure. It's coming up a quarter after the hour. So I had Bigfoot pull a Cialis commercial because they run them all. If you watch SportsCenter, it's all they run. Not all they run, but.
Boner pills.
right.
And they are so annoying and offensive. Well, I don't know if they're offensive or not, but it just.
We're going to review a Cialis commercial in the show today.
It seems to me that the women in them, I mean, I realize they're paid actors. I'm well aware of that, but they're not very good. They're like these soap opera people where they're just okay, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the women all look horrified in them whenever the guy in them starts to leer at them.
Right, like they have nothing to do with them.
Because they'll be doing something together, you know, some activity.
You must be used to that look.
and then suddenly she'll get a sense that this bastard is staring at her, you know, leering at her, really better.
Starts licking his lips.
Yes, and you can just read her mind. If I had one of those dialogue bubbles over her head, she said, "Oh God, a son of a bitch has got his hands on those pills again. They last 3 days." This bastard. So Bigfoot, let me run the one you have. Let's see if it's one of those ones that's creepy. So let's see. I can't see
You
it on
make
the
a
radio,
great
but,
team.
buy
It's
it
been
to
that way since the day you met. But your erectile dysfunction, it could be a question of blood flow. Cialis Tadalafil for daily use helps you be ready anytime the moment's right. You can be more confident in your ability to
Oh
be
no,
ready.
this is right here. Look,
Cialis is
see?
the only daily healing tablet approved
Look
to
at What's she thinking? Oh, God! Get your hands off of me!
What do I have to do?
Sleazy bastard!
Conditions and medications.
That's enough, Bigfoot. That's what I mean. She's there, they're painting a fence or something. And then suddenly he's oh, God.
He's eyeballing her.
Get away from me.
I'm going to tear you up, baby.
Oh, Jesus, what are you, nuts?
Forget the fence.
Yeah, this bastard's got his hands on these pills again.
You thinking now?
Oh, God.
See, baby, I got about an hour and a half when this stuff wears
I
out.
like how
Oh,
you
my
know how
God.
long it works.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stopwatch.
I know what time it is.
Come on, man. Anyway, that's enough of that. Any business news, Dagan?
Oh, yeah, baby. I got business news.
What else?
All right. Good morning, sir. The Dow dropped 48 points yesterday, but the futures are up by a little more than that amount at the moment. And Iron Man made this dude a money man. Robert Downey Jr. is the highest paid actor for the second year in a row, according to Forbes magazine. He made $75 million for the 12 months ending in June. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was the second highest earner with $52 million. Bradley Cooper, Leo DiCaprio, and Thor's Chris Hemsworth round out your top 5. All of them hotties.
Thanks for reading that business report.
That's interesting. Come on, man.
It's 18 after the hour. Time for sports, sponsored by Pearl Spoilers. And here with that is Warner Wolf.
Morning, I-Man. Come on. Can anybody play this game? The Yankees made 5 errors last night. 3 by losing starter Shane Green, and they lost to the last-place Texas Rangers 4-2.
They looked awful.
Oh, man.
They looked awful.
Oh,
God.
Speaking
Throwing
of...
a ball over people's heads?
Yes.
Oh, God, come on.
Well, here was Joe Girardi after the game.
The ball in front of him, and he threw it over the first baseman's head, and maybe it's one he should eat.
That's right.
They look like the Mets.
The Mets... Well, speaking of the Mets, the light-hitting Mets lost to Seattle 5-2.
Oh, of course.
Here was Terry Collins.
You know, we got to get more than one hit an inning.
That's right. The Orioles beat the Angels. The Red Sox had 18 hits, beat the Jays 14-1. David Ortiz, home runs number 452 and 453.
You know, the Vinny from Queens on Friday pulled a big number, ratings number.
Right.
And but you know what would help is if the people who I'm talking about the Fox Business Network, if the people who watch the Fox if you would just keep watching the network, like at 9 o'clock when we stopped doing it, because it's not bad. I mean, I was telling Connell how terrific I think a lot of the people on the network are, wasn't I, Connell?
You were right before the show. That's right.
So I don't know why they don't. What are you watching then?
Right. What else is on?
I mean, what is it you're switching to?
No.
You're making a mistake. They're fine. I had that Sandra Smith on for that Bartiromo woman. Yes, that's Sandra Smith.
Yeah. Great, Sandra.
And the Bartiromo one, she's fine too. They're all fine.
Take you up to Stuart Varney.
Varney's great.
Hello. Terrific.
The only one who sucks is Lou Dobbs, but I mean he's not on until much later, so
you can't. Couldn't help yourself, right?
Our old friend Lou Dobbs.
I'm not. Well, I'm a little serious, but not totally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
20 minutes left. Yeah, anything else, Warner?
Yeah, you want to hear an honest guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, well, here is the commissioner of the Big 12, Bob Bowlesby.
Right now, if you want to cheat, you can do it and you can get away with it, and there are benefits for doing it. I think not an understatement to say that cheating pays.
Wow.
What was he talking about?
He's the commissioner of the Big 12. Says teams and schools are cheating, and they're getting away.
Cheating how? What are they doing?
Well, falsifying grades, paying guys under the table.
Sure.
I mean, he's the first commissioner to come out and say, yeah.
You don't think Steve Spurrier's doing any of that, do you? I would hope not. Congratulations to Lou Ruffino and Nat Candido, who managed to be drunk before I got to the golf tournament.
Oh, wow. Oh, thanks for coming along.
How quick can you get drunk at these events, Lou?
This is just...
Where is Lou? Is he not here?
He's still drunk, I guess. Whatever.
Are you not listening to me, Lou?
I didn't hear you. I was listening to something. No, I didn't hear you.
How are you?
I'm great.
So my wife says she's talking to Lou, and she says Lou is completely gone. So that was my program. But I was just kidding about Lou Dobbs.
Right.
We actually like Lou.
Yeah.
It's just I'm feuding with Lou because he stiffed me on an appearance. He was supposed to be on to promote his book, and he didn't show up. So
I'll show him.
I say awful stuff about him, but I don't really mean it. Well, I like Lou. Lou gets pretty good numbers, too, by the way, on the Fox Business Network, so I didn't want you to think that I was... Why? I don't know. I wasn't serious. But I guess that sounded it.
Glad that's cleared up.
No, Noelle Nickpour. Well, I just saw her photograph on the monitor. Well, she's on O'Reilly all the time, isn't she?
I think Hannity.
Is she ever on O'Reilly?
That I don't know. It's possible.
You've definitely seen her on Fox, and like we said,
yes, seen her somewhere.
Oh yeah,
you've interviewed her as well. So there's that.
And I've had her on and didn't realize it.
Well,
but I can't. Well, she's got stuff to do, so
it'll be good.
A lot on those shoulders.
Feel like you guys are meeting for the first time. It'll be great.
Hannah Storm interviewed that woman last night on the Sports Channel, that UFC fighter,
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. There's something about Ronda, I don't know.
She's in that new movie, The Expendables 3.
She whooped that last woman in that last fight in 16 seconds.
She bad.
And then when Bismarck or somebody gets done with her, puts that makeup on her, she's passable, but there's something about, I don't know. Just trying to. Do you like her, Dagan?
I think she's fierce, and I think she looks great. But you look at her and think she'd snap you in half, which she would.
Right, when you disappoint her and
right,
she gets all upset.
Well, 30 minutes after the hour, let's do a Bernie briefing sponsored by My Pillow. Just had a Noelle Nickpour and see what's on her mind, why she's on. So, well, she probably knows why she's on. So
let's hope.
I think I would. I don't know. I just got to maybe I'm losing it. It could easily be the case.
Oh, not this morning.
If I can't remember ever having these people on or why they're on in the first place. Now, it isn't that I don't devote some time every day to the program. I do. In fact, I spend more time working on the program every day than it takes to do it.
Right.
Which is, by the way, at this point in my career, not what I had in mind, but it's actually sort of, I don't mind doing it, but
it's a labor of love.
Sure.
But I've got to remember who these people are, don't I? I mean,
well, you can fake it.
That doesn't.
Hey, well, I don't want to do that. So, anyway, well, what's coming? What's the briefing deal?
Well, we have remember last week the great one here from WABC, Mark Levin. He attacked Jon Stewart for sympathizing with the Palestinians and their conflict with the Israelis. Well, he didn't respond to it until last night when he did something and indirectly responded to it at the opening of his show. Take a listen.
We'll start tonight in the Middle East, where Israel...
What? Israel isn't supposed to defend itself?
Oh, yeah, if Mexico bombed Texas, will we exercise
What other countries
restraint?
held to the same standard as Israel? People that want to destroy her terrorism?
What's the matter with you? It's the only democracy in the Middle East, you
Hey! Self-hating Jew?
That was weird.
So he actually went on to talk about a lighter topic, the Ukraine, as he put it. And speaking of the Ukraine, the leader of the Russian separatist movement is some goon there. Anyway, Stephen Colbert has his name and his alias, and he had this to say about all that. Take a listen to Colbert from last night.
Well, it's pretty funny,
There
huh?
you go.
33 up the hour. Many of you didn't hear it, and so what's the point? Then I have to explain it, and it's just not good.
Not worth it.
Well, it's 20 minutes till they are. Please welcome now the Imus Morning program, Noelle Nickpour. Good morning, Miss Nickpour.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, it's great, thanks.
So, I apologize for not remembering that you were on, but, you know, don't be offended by that because, you know, here's what happens. Megan, who runs the office, she's on her way out to the ranch today, by the way.
Oh,
She volunteers as a kid wrangler. We're having a bunch of kids show up here today, by the way. Anyway, she'll send me a list of guests and in an email. And rather than go through I'll say a couple of names on it that I recognize, and then I'll say, well, yeah, they're all fine. apparently you were on that list, so we're happy to have you on again. I must have liked you or something. So what do you do to make a living? How do you support yourself?
Well, I raise money for candidates, Republican candidates, and high-profile races. And right now, since we're trying to focus on taking back the U.S. Senate, I think we've got a pretty good chance. GOP.
Oh, we do?
I think so.
How did you become a Republican? You're fairly young.
Well,
I don't know what that means by what I just said. I'm not sure what that means, but
well,
anyway.
I'm pretty much a moderate, so it definitely wasn't through the church house. I tell you, my biggest race that I did that pretty much put me on the map was working for Mayor Rudy Giuliani when he ran for president, and he ran a fine race except for putting all his eggs in Florida, and that didn't turn out so well.
Well, he didn't get any votes, did he?
Well,
how did that help you?
That didn't.
His candidacy was a disaster, Nicole. No,
I mean, I raised the money for it, and if you'll look at his fundraising records, I remember he did very well in the fundraising department, and so that was a good thing. Now, I didn't do the strategy.
I like him, by the way.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's a regular guest on a lot of Fox News programs. So,
wife is a little shaky, but I'm sure
yeah, there was an article I think in Vanity Fair about his wife. So, a tell-all.
My wife was someplace. We were at some event, which I never go to, so I can't imagine what it was. But and she was in the restroom with her. I wonder if I'm supposed to tell this or not. Yeah, I guess I can. So, and Mrs. Giuliani was trying to tell my wife that she doesn't color her hair, which everybody colors it. Well, every woman colors her hair. Everyone does. I don't know what that means. I guess there's particular insight into.
Very interesting. I wonder how that came up.
Who knows? Hey, this because my wife puts more stuff on her hair than you. I mean, come on. Hey, this Ed Klein book? How is that book doing well? He's not a very credible guy, is he, or is he?
Ed Klein? No. I don't know. Is it on
It's a Clinton book, It's a Blood Feud or whatever it's called.
Blood Feud. Oh, yeah. It's actually, it's a very hard to get book, apparently. I had a friend of mine that just sent me a text yesterday saying that he finally got the book. He had difficulty in getting the book.
You mean an actual hard copy of it?
Yeah.
Well, how about just a Kindle deal?
I don't know. Maybe this guy really likes hardback books.
Really?
I guess so.
Well, why is it resonating? That's my question. I mean, it seems like it's full of not very well researched, apparently, and a lot of anonymous sources claiming that there's this big blood feud between the Clintons and the Obamas, which I suspect they don't like each other, but.
Well, and I think that's why you're hearing rumors of the Obamas, or more so Barack Obama, kind of persuading or making friendly with Elizabeth Warren to maybe get her to run. Sure. No, there's no love lost with Clintons and Obama, and I think even if it wasn't a book depicting that, I think that you can pretty much figure that out.
Hey, did you see this Maureen Dowd's column this past Sunday about Clinton?
No. What'd she say about him?
Well, about how enormously popular Bill Clinton is, in spite of being pretty much a dirtbag,
Well, that's really interesting. Bill Clinton, with all the shenanigans that he had, he is actually someone that a lot of Democrats look to endorse him. He's got like a Teflon brand. There's nothing that sticks on him, and really nothing that really sticks on Hillary. You've got a lot of like John Edwards, horrible Democrat. Nobody looks for the endorsement of some of these people that have had a scandal. But yet Bill Clinton, he can have a scandal. I think he was in Page 6 today with a blonde lady that is appearing at his house every time Hillary leaves, and they're nicknaming her the Energizer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I like him. I mean, we like the big dog. So
Well,
I'm not sure why.
He's from Arkansas, so you know if you're from Arkansas, everybody knows the Clintons or somebody that knows the Clintons.
You're from Arkansas as well, aren't you?
You got it, yeah.
Did I ever ask you if you met him?
I have met him, but I was really, really young, so you know.
It never
So he
stopped
hadn't
him in
hit.
the past.
He hasn't hit on you, right?
No, I was in a picture line for something with my parents.
Well, so you guys think you're going to take back the Senate, huh?
Yeah, you know, I actually think we have a good shot at it, and you know, hopefully from there we can go on to 2016. If Hillary runs, it's going to be pretty tough because it's going to, you know, fundraising is going to be an issue. Yeah. If Elizabeth Warren ends up running, game on, because she's so viewed as so far left. It'll give the GOP a chance to really make some noise.
Who would you like to see running for the GOP?
GOP, it's looking like Rand Paul is.
Oh, God.
Well, he's making some appeal to the middle. I mean, right now he's out in California raising some money. So, and that was one of the things that people liked about Chris Christie.
He's so creepy.
Well,
oh, God.
Oh, no.
Do you like Chris Christie?
I like Chris Christie a lot. Unfortunately, I feel like he may be tough to raise money for presidential unless some things turn around. And it's unfortunate because I really thought that was going to be the guy that could bridge the middle and bridge that gap.
No pun intended. What has hurt him?
Whose name?
Huh? What has hurt him?
Oh, the Bridgegate scandal, which
okay.
I don't really, in the whole realm of things compared to Benghazi and some other heinous things that have happened in the news under a politician's watch, I think the Bridgegate's, not as impactful, but.
Well, it's like Nixon, you know, I mean, the problem is if you think they're lying about it, and then you find out they are lying about it. Well, anyway, well, thank you very much, Noel. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Sure.
Noel Nipour here in the Absent One program. Trauma South. Oh, God. So, anyway, I don't know what's coming up. Oh, Hollywood Invited, great topics. And I love Dagan and Imogen and Riedel. I actually like all three of them. I like Dagan better than the other two, but still like them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Imus in the morning.
You know, I love Willie Nelson. And I was listening to a Willie Nelson song the other day called I've Been on Both Sides of Goodbye. Great song. I don't know who wrote it. I forget who wrote it, but I may have never known. And as you know, perhaps, I'm a huge Billy Joe Shaver fan because I think Billy Joe Shaver is a genius. One of the great songwriters of any kind of music. And I'm a tramp on your street. Come on, man. George on the Fast. I mean, he wrote so many great songs, it's ridiculous. Yeah. But now he's got a song. I just heard from my friend Kyle Lenning, who is a great record producer. Produced all of Randy Travis's records and stuff. Produced a bunch of records on the Imus Ranch record, volumes 1 and 2, which, do you know it's all sold almost 1 million copies? Are you aware of that?
Pretty good.
And that's just what the record company's telling me. You know, that's... They've actually sent money to the ranch, the record company has. So. Anyway, now, but now Billy Joe Shaver and Willie have got a song out. It's on Willie's new album, which I listened to yesterday, and there's a couple things on it that are okay. But one of them is called It's Hard to Be an Outlaw If You Aren't Wanted Anymore. And here's what happens. People like Merle Haggard and not so much George Jones, but a lot of these older country artists are bitter about that the records that nobody wants the records aren't played on country radio anymore. And I'll tell you why they aren't. Because we're sick of them.
Huh.
That's why.
That's the reason, huh? Wow.
We're sick of them.
Jeez.
We don't want to hear them anymore.
It's over.
We like Luke Bryan. I mean, we like Eric Church. Dagan loves him. We like all these people. I mean, they make some good. Miranda Lambert, that girl, makes some great records. These people all make great records. I mean, it's all changed. You can't. Well, I don't know. It's just it makes me sad. Now, Kyle's telling me about Billy and I don't know if Billy Joe Shaver and Willie sing on this together or not. Hey, well, Lou, see if you can find it. It's hard to be an outlaw. So it's on Willie's new album. But maybe, but it essentially comes down to their whining about, well, shut up about it. God, it's enough. You had hit records for 50 years.
All got to move on.
You got to move on. And then Bigfoot, we're talking about that Cialis commercial, which it's just simply because it's on all the time, these various commercials. And they are so creepy.
Yeah.
And Bigfoot ran that's a good one this morning he ran, where the guy and the couple are painting the fence. Look like they're doing that. And he's obviously got his hands, this bastard's got his hands on these pills somehow. Mm-hmm. Well, they gave them to him, or he bought them or something. And so she's happy, pretty much, just painting the fence, going along there. And then she gets a sense. You know how you get a sense that somebody's staring at you?
Right.
And in this particular case, leering at her. And but I guess they must be effective because they keep running them. So it's like, well, there's no point going on about it. Now the Hollywood and Vine's coming up this morning. I'll tell you why that's good, because Dagan brings energy to it. Riedel, he brings energy to it, and Imogene. They all bring energy to the equation.
3 for 3. And
they're great, and there's fun topics, so that'll be good. Mm-hmm. And then Congressman Peter King, he's going to be on later, and he's pretty good. So,
all right, good show.
You know,
keep the momentum going of the show.
Yeah, and Andrew Dice Clay, he's on. Warner's always jacked up about something. He's always got the energy going. Same with them. Yeah. Never mails it in. So.
Never.
No.
A game every day.
What's coming up in sports, Warner, speaking of that?
Well, they had 45,000 out at the stadium ready to cheer on the Yankees. The Yankees made 5 errors and lost.
They sucked, didn't they?
Man, they lost to the worst team in baseball, the last place Texas. And the other story is how does Browns' #1 quarterback Brian Hoyer feel about Johnny Manziel looking over his shoulder?
So the #1 selling football jersey in the NFL is Johnny Manziel's #2 jersey. Isn't that unbelievable?
Hasn't even played it down. Right, he beats out Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick.
Lupica sent me I might get it today or tomorrow. He sent me a Browns baseball cap.
Oh, wow, that'll be huge.
A Browns baseball cap.
Oh, yeah, I'm on that Browns bandwagon. That's my team.
No.
That's my team this year, the Browns.
Wait a minute.
Cleveland.
They're 4-12 last year.
No surprise.
I mean, you're going to wait to see, right? I mean,
you know, this ranch I own in Texas, it sits on a hill there in Brenham, Texas. You can see everything. So the guy next door, he's got 50 acres he wants to sell. So I made him an offer, and he said he wants twice as much as I offered him. Well, he can just go straight to hell. I'm not going to. The offer is the offer. Take it or leave it. Because I don't care whether I have it or not. So he says to me, or says to the real estate guy, he says, It's reason it's worth so much is because it has a great view. Well, I've already got the view because I have the property right next door. I have the view.
Right, just adds to it. Yep.
Yeah. And then he says, well, on a clear day, you can see College Station, Texas. And I said, I don't want to see College Station, Texas, because Johnny Manziel's in Cleveland.
Right. For clouds.
So why would I want to look at College Station?
Makes no sense.
Yeah. Texas A&M, no.
What are you, nuts?
What view?
Well, he'll have to sell it to somebody else or come to his senses, one of the two. All right, 12 after the hour, time of the news. Here with that is Colin Machine. Morning, Colin.
Good morning, I'm in. Top of the news once again this morning. Ukraine, where those pro-Russian rebels are handing over the black boxes, and the bodies of the victims now headed to the Netherlands for identification after that downed plane. And the question now is, will Europe finally come through with some serious sanctions against the Russians after all this? There are some reports maybe momentum's growing for the Europeans to take a harsher approach than the relatively mild sanctions we've seen so far because of the downing of the plane. Britain and some other countries now are demanding tougher measures. Lithuania's foreign minister blamed, quote, terrorists.
Well, they're not going to do that because they get all that oil and stuff from. They're not going to do anything of the kind.
Right. They've been waiting for us to do it, but the Lithuanian foreign minister said it was terrorists supplied by Moscow who were responsible for the incident. So people say, well, maybe now.
Hey, Bernard.
Yo.
Did the people die instantly when the missile hit the plane?
I would imagine. I hope they did. I really don't know.
What do you think, Connell?
I think they probably did, most of them. I hope so, too, like Bernard said. Probably a huge explosion right away. And
you saw some of the bodies were fairly intact.
Yeah.
God, it's horrible.
So again, we hope yes.
Yeah. All right. Colin continues.
Surprise, surprise, the Russian media playing a very different version of this story than the one we are. Among the explanations being offered to the news audience in Russia, an assassination attempt against President Vladimir Putin. That's one of the things. A desperate ploy to draw the West into the battle for Ukraine, and a botched mission to commit mass murder against Russian citizens. So that's some of the things that are in the Russian papers and on TV over there. So the other thing, of course, Israel continues to hit Gaza this morning, but even with that continuing, the foreign minister of Egypt is actually suggesting upping the ante in terms of the peace talks. At the start of the meeting with Secretary of State John Kerry, the Egyptian foreign minister raised the possibility of restarting the stalled peace talks overall between Israel and the Palestinians. Big picture as part of negotiating this ceasefire in the near term. So,
do they have any lights or cameras?
It looked like it was dark, the TV picture.
They're in a closet, don't they?
Right.
Quarter after the hour here in the Imus Morning Program. Time for business news. And here with that is Dagan Majal. Morning, Dagan.
Good morning, sir. Trying to hide John Kerry's bad face work is what they're doing. Keeping him moving along.
That's very mean.
He's fine.
Good morning, sir. Futures are up 46 points on the Dow at the moment, and Apple is betting big on bigger iPhones. Apple is preparing its largest initial production run of iPhones, asking suppliers to make 70 to 80 million units of the two upcoming larger screen phones. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. The new iPhone 6 will come with a 4.7-inch screen or a 5.5-inch screen, up from the current 4 inches currently available today. The phone, for you, iMan, likely out mid-September. There you go. You're going to be on
16. It. So how many inches are you going to get here?
You can get 5.5, or if that's too big, 4.7 inches.
16 after the hour here in the Imus Morning Program. Morning World Sports.
It's just not right.
Sponsored by Hackensack University
You can buy
Medical
3 or
Center.
4 of them and then, line them up.
Sure. A place where medicine meets innovation, and here with that is Warner Wolf. Good morning, Warner.
Morning, I'm baseball. 45,000 booing fans at the stadium saw the Yankees make 5 errors and lost to the last place Rangers 4-2. Losing pitcher Shane Green committed 3 of the 5 errors. He threw 1 ball over the first baseman's head, another ball in the right field, and then dropped the throw covering first. Hey, Shane, how about those 3 errors?
Obviously, I need to work on that.
Yes, you do. The Orioles win. Red Sox 5 in a row. Ortiz home runs 452, 453. Passes Carl Yastrzemski. Dodgers win. The Giants pounded Cliff Lee on his return. Brewers and Nats win. Braves lose. And the White Sox, Chris Sale goes 9-1 with a 2.03 ERA. Well, how does Browns' #1 quarterback Brian Hoyer feel about Johnny Manziel looking over his shoulder?
You know, we're teammates, so I want the best quarterback to play for this team. I don't. If that's not me, then that's fine. You know, especially being from here, I want this team to succeed.
Oh, hey, come on.
You're phony.
Please.
What are you nuts?
That is,
It's all about me.
Oh, yeah.
No, man, I mean, I don't want that guy on my team.
No
way is
Jesus
that
God,
true.
are you crazy?
Oh, is that, oh man.
I'll just sit around here with a
Come
clipboard.
on.
I don't care if I get cut.
Oh, my God. Blah, 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 blah,
Just
blah.
as long as we win.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
my
a-
God, you loser.
Feed.
Hey,
Cleveland
it's not
rocks.
the team.
Yeah.
Team,
What
guys.
an idiot. All right, 17 after the hour here in the After Swim Bring Up. All right, here's Billy Joe Shaver. It's hard to be an outlaw if you're not one. Was coming up here in a minute, but a few minutes. But before that, it's time for a Bernie briefing, and that is sponsored by My Pillow. And here with that is Bernard McGurk. Morning, Ms. McGurk.
Morning, Mr. Imus. Have you heard about the incident where Tim McGraw in Atlanta during a concert, he slapped a female fan in the face? Or as TMZ describes it, quote-unquote, bitch slapped the fan.
No, I have not heard about it. Maybe I did hear something about it, yeah.
Well, they're rolling the tape on Fox Business right now. The woman grabbed his jeans, and he was on stage wearing a black wife beater all muscled up.
Yeah.
And he pushes her hand away, and then he reaches down and smacks her in the face after her hand was gone. He says, quote, "It happened in a split second. It was pure instinctive reaction. I think you've just got to move on." Nobody feels good about it. The Atlanta police, they say the slap was justified. But somewhere I think Chris Brown is saying, no justice, no peace. Look at, boom, he just smacks her right in the mush. Oh, my God. But anyway, he got away with it. It's all good. And last night, Stephen
He
Cole.
looks stupid, doesn't he? It just looks stupid. He got his torn jeans on, then his wife beater T-shirt. I mean, well,
I'm focused more on slapping the woman in the face.
I agree.
For God's sake.
Look at what he's wearing,
No.
I mean, he actually went out of his way to lean down and whacked her in the mush.
Yeah, but you see his T-shirt?
Oh, my God. You can't have holes in the jeans right there.
Hey, look at that hat. It's not blocked right. Look at that. God, damn it.
Well, Carly says.
Somebody get a stylist for him.
Carly says she can't. That the hard to be an outlaw lyrics are not online. Of course they are. I have them here on my phone.
I can't find them anywhere.
All right, well, we'll continue to investigate.
So you have them then.
Right, so you don't need her to help you out
There you
there.
go.
No, I don't need her to. But I mean, it's irritating when I ask her to do something, and she tells me, and this, of course they're right here.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Shall I continue, boss?
I think so.
Yes.
Stephen Colbert last night on the Malaysian jet crash. Take a listen to him. Is this really a source for humor?
I don't know, but he is kind of funny, Colbert, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
My wife had trying to tell me, well, here are the lyrics now. Here's what Billy Joe Shaver and Willie are singing about.
Let's get to the bottom of
The
this.
first part of the thing is the.
Let me get a pen here.
Hold
I
on.
don't understand.
Carly,
She
write
was
this down.
cuter
Wait,
than a
wait, wait.
speckled pup. Well, if you're all going to talk when I'm talking, we're not going to get anything done here. I'm already irritated that Carly can't do what I ask her to do. Anyway, she was cuter than a speckled pup. Just turned 21. She had a lot of fun playing with my gun. I don't know what that means. But then we get down to whining. Some superstars nowadays get too far off the ground, singing about the back roads they've never have been down. Well, yes. You've got to stop it, don't they?
Really?
Yes.
So no.
Stop whining.
I mean,
What are you now saying, Bernie?
I was saying finally we'll go to our boy Conan O'Brien from last night with a couple of funnies. Take a listen.
Edward Snowden back in the
Hello?
news. NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden said that the military often shared nude photos that Americans had sexted to one another. The military would look at them and share them back and forth. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if your girlfriend won't send you naked pictures, just tell her do it for the troops. Big story. The company that owns Six Flags amusement parks has suffered a nearly 10% drop in revenue. Yeah. As the drop began, Six Flags stockholders raised their arms and started screaming.
30 minutes after the hour. Addison and Vine is sponsored by the Book of Mormon, the 9-time Tony Award-winning Best Musical from the creators of South Park. I saw it twice. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen on Broadway, period. Nothing ever better. So it's just a scream.
Death of a Salesman's pretty funny, don't you think, Don?
Pardon me?
Death of a Salesman's pretty funny, don't you think?
Shut up, Four Eyes. All right. Please welcome to the program Michael Riedel, Dagan McDowell, and Imogene Lloyd River. I was watching Imogene had a shot of her on the monitor, and she's sitting there looking very pretty and proper.
Thank
and all
you,
suddenly, she makes a face and reaches over and smacks Riedel.
That's true. That's because she comes prepared, and I tried to read over her shoulder all of her facts and figures, so I know what I'm talking about.
The movie Sex Tape with Cameron Diaz has been doing dreadful business.
Oh, yeah.
The ratings have been awful, and there are 3 reasons that you can choose from here, or perhaps you have your own. First of all, one, there actually is a photograph or video that exists of Cameron Diaz feeding popcorn to Alex Rodriguez. Or perhaps she's a little long in the tooth to play a sex kitten, or you can see bugs crawling on her. Start with you, Dagan.
All 3, but also the fact, I think people didn't see it because they were afraid they would actually have to see her in a sex tape. So that goes to the fact that she's a little long in the tooth for this. But remember, her entire career is based on having splooge in her hair. That's it. In Something About Mary. So the fact that she's even still making movies to this day is a huge bonus.
I must say, as an expert in female attractiveness, I do believe she's losing her looks a little bit at 41 years old. She is no longer the hottie she once was back in the day.
Oh, shut up, Riedel. The reason why Sex Tape couldn't get it up at the box office this weekend was it was just a dreadful.
The box office is a little flaccid, isn't it?
Talking about erections.
It was
Tell
limp.
Nita show.
Was that it was just a terrible movie. Cameron Diaz actually had a big hit earlier on this year with The Other Woman. It's almost grossed $200 million so far this year. So it's not Cameron Diaz's fault. This was just a horrible movie. And it was based on a ridiculous premise. This couple had made a sex tape, put it into an iCloud, and then everybody could access the iCloud. But Apple came out last week and said that's impossible. It's ridiculous. This movie was obviously written by a 60-year-old who has no idea about technology.
Time for a Cialis commercial, Don, I think, to get that box office back up there.
Which, by the way, one of the guys in that ad did look like Riedel, so that was a little off-putting. Talking about making you limp, Lord.
Do you want to see my Cialis leader?
Actually, Warner Wolf wants to see this movie. Did you like it, Warner?
No, it was terrible.
I heard you talking about it the other day.
Rob Lowe was the best in the movie. I hadn't seen him in a long time. And, of course, the irony is he really did make a sex tape.
What I'm curious about, though, Warner, is why would you and your wife go to see a movie?
No, his wife didn't go.
Oh, yes, she did. Yesterday I said she put a bag over her head so nobody would know she was there.
Interestingly,
you went by yourself to see a movie called Sex Tape, Warner?
20 minutes till the hour here in the I'm Swine program. The movie Boyhood, which is apparently some guy did with Richard Linklater, over a period of 12 years with the same actors, and it's doing well. Why, Dagan?
Because it's genius because of the way it was made, because it films this young man and his parents, played by Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette, over his life from 1st grade to 12th grade. And nothing's ever been done like it, and it's certainly a great deal more real than any kind of story of aging that any director's ever done. And I'll go see it. I hate Ethan Hawke. He's a total dirtbag. He looks like he smells, which completely distracts me during the movie, but even I would see it. It looks so terrific.
You're right about Ethan Hawke. He does look like he smells, and he doesn't really shower very much. He's kind of famous, actually, in the theater world for looking and sometimes acting like he smells. But you know why it's a good movie? It's a good movie because it's a human movie. It is not a sequel about apes. It is not some stupid attempt to be a romantic comedy. It's about real people and real situations, and it's tender and humane.
Well, thank you for that, Riedel. I think I want to vomit. This movie does have right. Sorry. This movie does have a 99 Metacritic rating, which is unprecedented. So now it's going to be all about the strategy. It's very rare that you get a movie this good this early on in the year. They all tend to come out in December so that the movies are fresh in Oscar voters' minds. So now they're rolling this movie out very
it's
slowly.
always about the Academy Awards. It's always about those dopes out in Hollywood and these like self-congratulatory parties that they have for one another. How about just making a decent damn movie and letting the average American go see it?
Allow me to make an observation, Imogen, without you retching on me. But the fact of the matter is, these people set out not to win awards, not to get it caught up in all this marketing nonsense, not to be part of the whole Hollywood machine, but to make a decent, human, lovely, wonderful movie. Nobody makes those movies anymore.
This is all about strategy now. That's
No,
why
it's
they
not
opened.
about
It's why
strategy.
they opened.
They're artists. These people who made that movie.
It is why they opened. It is why they opened in 5 movie theaters initially, 34 over this weekend, and are rolling out to 25 cities over
Nobody
next
cares
weekend.
how many movie theaters are there. They care if the movie's
God,
good, and they
just
made a great
shut up.
movie.
Nobody cares about any of this. Why did I even ask you about it? Hey,
it was your topic.
Adam Levine got married. Does anybody care? Do you care, Imogen?
No, I don't, but they got married in Mexico over the weekend. His model wife, clearly she's a model, he only dates models, wore Marchesa. This is information I now have in my head, which I deeply regret. The thing about Adam Levine, though, that I do slightly admire is that he goes out and he says, I have a great life. He's not one of these actresses who complain, saying the red carpet is a war zone, or complaining about the paparazzi. He goes, look, I've got a great life. I earned $35 million last year. Look, I'm a douchebag, so what? So I sort of slightly admire him.
She's going to cheat. That wife is going to cheat on him, though, before he cheats on her. The over-under on this marriage is 14 months. She cheats first because she has an inferiority complex. He's the sexiest man alive. He dated 3 Victoria's Secret models in 5 years. She's going to wind up with a pipe fitter who can belch the alphabet.
Hey, listen, if she wants to cheat, I am ready and willing and available, because that is one nice-looking young woman.
She'll
I believe her name is Bahati Prinsloo or something like that.
She'll cheat with me before she cheats with you.
What is wrong? They're attacking me on both sides this morning.
Could almost turn Riedel straight here. Some of these really are. Why is Weird Al Yankovic hot again?
This, I have no idea. I have always found that guy to be seriously creepy, and I've never found any of those song parodies that he does that much fun. I mean, what was the famous one from Beat It, Eat It, Eat It? This is not witty. Noel Coward, he is not.
Yeah.
He's a 55-year-old white man with a jerry curl. That's what creeps me out.
He's totally creepy. Look at that hair weave. Oof.
The reason is he's back is he's figured out how to work out YouTube to great effect.
Looks like Tiny Tim.
And it looks like he's going to be #1 in the Billboard charts this week and beat out Jason Mraz. So who knew?
Music fans have loved love his stuff. They find it amusing. If you think Gallagher's funny, you're going to like this guy.
We played something on Might Be Elvis from him that I believe it's called Tacky, which I thought actually made me sort of laugh. So.
Oh, that's his parody of Pharrell Williams' Happy, right?
Mm-hmm. Did you see the story about Mike Myers and GQ?
Yes.
Yes.
What is the deal with him? What is that about?
I can't explain him. What is he paints the Colonel Sanders in like old world paintings. I can't even begin to explain this. The guy hasn't had he made one movie like 6 years ago, Love Guru, which was a huge bomb. I'm just waiting for the Hamburglar Mayor McCheese series. That inevitably will
It's going to be painted on velvet.
He never needs to work again. He sort of made $175 million through sort of Shrek and Austin Powers and all those sorts of things. He spent 3 years painting oil paintings of this chicken man. He's managed 15 paintings so far, but he won't show them to anybody. So, hats off to George W. Bush. At least he shows us his work. We have no idea really what's going on with Mike Myers.
I don't think we're going to be seeing the Mike Myers series of Colonel Harlan Sanders painting hanging in the Museum of Modern Art anytime soon.
Imogen's been pretty good this morning.
Oh, fun.
I inspired her. I inspired her.
Bringing the noise and the filth. So, wonder where Casey Kasem is.
He's apparently in Montreal, and since we're all deferring to Imogen this morning, she can correct me if I'm wrong. But his body got sent from the Pacific Northwest to Montreal, and apparently that's where he is right now.
I know
his Gene Kasem basically took the body and flew to Canada with it.
Yeah, his kids have been fighting with her for years over his treatment. They allege that she wasn't looking after him, and she swiped the body, and she's taken to to this fabulous funeral home, which is called in Montreal the Urgle Bourgeois. Can you imagine being buried at the Urgle Bourgeois in Montreal?
I don't know. It's just.
I just have this imaging of the wife riding around in this old converted Good Humor truck with the body in the back. I don't know. Call me weird.
that is somewhat
to top
strange.
40 hits from 1982.
Here's a sad note. How old do you think Lonnie Anderson is? Gotta be my age, isn't she?
Got to be older than Colonel Sanders, I think, at this point.
And now she's trying to get. She was married to Burt Reynolds apparently at one time.
Yeah.
And first of all, is he even still alive? That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently is. So now she claims he owes her $150,000 from 20 years ago for. I mean, how?
I guess those WKRP in Cincinnati residuals aren't kicking in anymore. But listen, they're both broke. Burt Reynolds filed for bankruptcy. They foreclosed on his home. And a great blow to the American theater, his Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater in Jupiter, Florida, also went bankrupt. So I don't know. How's she going to get $250,000 or $150,000 out of a guy who's filed for bankruptcy a number of times?
Because he's just got a book deal. He's also regularly worked. I'm always slightly suspicious of men who regularly work but somehow go bankrupt and can't pay their ex-wives. It sort of always stinks. Look, they made an agreement many years ago. He was supposed to pay her $250,000. He was $97,000 short. Now with interest, that's $150,000. So look, he's clearly in the wrong. And if I were her, I would be going after him.
And girl's got to keep herself deep in Botox, and she might need a new pair of jugs. You never know.
Oh, God. I'd rather have that.
She's of age. They start sinking even if you have them fake.
Well, I don't even want to think
it's
about it.
It's going to cost more than $250,000 to fix that thing up.
Homeland is back for a fourth season. Any of you care?
Yes. I have some scoop for you, which is not yet out there. Damian Lewis, who starred in Homeland for 3 seasons, and obviously, spoiler alert, died at the end of last season.
Thank
God,
he's
dead. And if you were worried that you weren't ever going to see Damian Lewis again, don't. This is unannounced, but he is going to be back on Broadway in the spring of 2015 in Tennessee Williams' The Night of the Iguana. So that's a little bit of scoop for everybody.
So if you need to see a British man with no lips, hey, you know where you can go see him now.
He's hot.
For $150 a ticket.
He's dead. He's dead. He
Night
died
of the
on the
Iguana
show. Thank Jesus he's gone. And thank God that his annoying daughter on the show won't make an appearance. Even Connell agrees with me. Dana Brody, she's like that teenager standing behind you in line at the Starbucks who's bitching to her friends about, Mama won't give me a credit card. Mama won't give me a credit card. I can't believe my mom won't give me a credit card. That's who that girl is, and the show's ratings will come back. She's gone.
She's just had a very good run off Broadway at Manhattan Theatre Club, the girl who plays Dana Brody.
Hollywood and Vine, unfortunately, is sponsored by the Book of Mormon, the 9-time Tony Award-winning Best Musical. From the creators of South Park, all 3 of you get out of the studio. Welcome now to the Imus Wayne program. Our old friend Brian Wilson. Morning, Brian.
Morning, Opie. I'm Brian Wilson. How are you? I'm fine. I've always been in favor of legalizing pot. In fact, I was looking on the internet to try and find a way I could give myself glaucoma so I could get a prescription for some of that bitchin' blueberry yum yum or L.A. Confidential. That stuff will make you change your address so you can get your mail delivered right to your couch. You're not going anywhere for a while. But it just seems that just like gay marriage, not all the states are behind the idea of making dope lawful. But I guess with gay marriage, what you're smoking is a lot different. Anyway, now I think there's some evidence to suggest marijuana may be beneficial for pets. I'm all for relieving my dog Broski's arthritis pain. I just don't know how he'd smoke pot. He couldn't hold a joint in his paws very well, let alone light the thing. I guess he could use my crazy straw Mr. Potato Head bong. I just don't know how I would teach him the concept of how to inhale. I was thinking of blowing some smoke into his face to see if I could give him a contact high and observe the effects. I'm just afraid Broski might get a little paranoid. Hey, man, why is the cat looking at me like that? I also think he might bogart like crazy, because when he likes something, he tends to really overindulge. And if he likes dope as much as he likes licking himself, I'll never get the joint away from him.
Ladies and gentlemen, Imus in the morning.
You know, I hate to continue to focus on these Cialis ads, but, you know, if you watch SportsCenter, which I do all the time, and they run them on Fox, too, I mean, these Cialis ads are so creepy.
Yeah.
And And I understand that there are actors that they've hired to do this, but I don't know what the message is because the women in them all are fairly attractive women, probably. I don't know. It's all middle-aged people. I mean, 40s, somewhere in that area. You know, maybe 40, somewhere like that.
Yep.
And so, one in particular, the woman is, it looks like they're painting a fence, or they're doing something. And now there they are. If you're watching the Fox Business Network, which you would have to be in order to see this. Now they're painting the fence, and she's engrossed in painting the fence.
Yeah, look like a chair, doesn't it?
And
yeah, it's wood
a
furniture.
chair they're painting.
Yeah.
And he obviously has got his hands on one of these pills and has taken it.
Look at his face.
And
he's looking at her
I
like...
look at him, and then and now he's leering at her. It's so Jesus.
Like Governor Christie looks at a donut.
Oh, I get it.
And she's got to be thinking, oh, God.
She just goes
Who
back to
gave
painting.
the bastard these? Where did he get these things? And the problem with the Cialis is apparently they last for days.
Imagine being the writers at the script thing and writing that into the script.
Exactly.
Now you leer.
Yes.
Give her a real
He was just a neighbor. He just met her.
I did. By the way, and she gets a sense.
Need help with that fence?
She's there trying to paint the stupid chair,
Right.
and then she gets this sense. It's almost like, the Bates Motel where you're there in a shower or whatever.
Oh.
And you sense that somebody's outside, and then, you get this sense that there's somebody hovering near you, and that you're about to be assaulted. In this case, with a half-limp wiener. That this guy is jacked up with a popsicle stick, and this.
What's that poking me in the back?
Honest to
Not a
God.
paintbrush.
Anyway,
No paintbrush here.
and they
They're all over the place, too.
Yes.
Like, can't get away from it.
and then that, and Willie Nelson and Billy Joe Shaver
Yeah,
with their "It's Hard to Be an Outlaw."
sure is.
I don't know. I don't know what the point is. I mean, what is the point of bitching about the fact? That today's country radio, which by the way, is the premier format in the country of radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
There are more country radio stations, and these guys all bitch about the fact that they don't like. That doesn't sound Lady Antebellum. It doesn't sound like country. Well, what? God.
Never works, right?
Stop it. Nobody wants to hear. I mean, I'm just going to tell you this now. God bless him. I'm sorry he died. But, I mean, I just don't want to hear he stopped loving her today. Fine. He's dead.
No, jeez.
He doesn't love her anymore. I get it.
No more. It's over.
If they want to sing about their truck or whatever it is they want to sing about, it's fine with me.
Yeah, let them do it.
I mean, Miranda Lambert's making some great records. You've got to just move on.
Right. You don't hear Rick Springfield whining or...
Don't hear them.
Well, no, they whine too.
The Spinners.
It does.
Yeah, they do. They bitch.
Yeah, sometimes you do. You're right.
Good old days.
And they had
very
hits for
irritating.
years.
Really drives.
I mean, Willie is 81 or 2 years old. Stop it. Well, I don't think Willie's whining that much.
It's Billy Joe.
And I don't know whether Billy Joe is. Either Billy Joe's Shaver's still pretty popular,
Somebody's whining.
But this, I don't know. But, well, Kyle Lenny, my friend Kyle Lenny, sent me this note about this. I mean, we have Billy Joe Shaver on the program, so I must like him.
Oh, you love him, yeah, sure.
But
he cool.
We do. Yeah, very cool. Well, all industry, everybody does this. Athletes do it all the time too. Oh, back when I played, wasn't like this. And
I don't know.
like Keith Hernandez or something.
Yes. Keith Hernandez.
Congressman Peter King is coming up. We'll talk to him.
Why can't they hit it like me?
Not what I was playing.
I'd like to see Congressman King in a Cialis ad, wouldn't you?
Hey, baby.
Let's picture this for a minute here.
I got a royal one.
Happy birthday to
Looking at a terrorist plot, and he just leers over at somebody.
yeah.
The hearing room.
Happy birthday to Bob Dole.
Speaking of,
How am I
Oh,
doing?
Bob
Yeah.
is,
He used to do commercials for Viagra.
yeah. Old Bob is 91 today. That's a good run, isn't it?
How we doing?
How you doing?
Well, I wonder if he's.
Got that Cialis.
Do you think he knows what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
He does. How do you know he does?
Because there have been accounts of him rebutting, like digs at him in the past year, actually, where
Right.
he's done so publicly in the press.
Okay.
So he's paying attention, and he's probably his health is failing, but his mind is sharp.
Okay. Well, he's 91.
He's our old friend.
Yes.
And an
Great
old war
war.
hero.
Yes.
God bless him.
Selena Gomez, Wyatt likes her. She's 22. Don Henley, I like him. He's 67.
All right.
So, I like Henley a lot. I wouldn't want to have to. I think Mojo Nixon's right about Don Henley, and I don't know if Henley has to die or not, but that was pretty much Mojo's. Is Mojo still on Outlaw Country, Dagan?
Yeah, baby, he is.
It's pretty good, isn't he?
No, he's great. Hilarious.
Well. All right, let's do some news now. And here with that is Conor Machine. Morning, Conor.
Good morning, Iman. So these pro-Russian rebels over in Ukraine have released the black boxes and the bodies of the victims from the downed Malaysian plane. Over 250 bodies heading to the Netherlands for identification. So that's finally happening. And this is I guess, a somewhat interesting development. You know, many airlines can't fly over Ukraine for safety concerns, obvious reasons. Well, a Malaysia Airlines flight, same airline, Malaysia Airlines flight chose a different route, reportedly flying over Syria instead. So apparently Syria is the safe route for Malaysia Airlines in this case. So when you get to that stage. Israeli soldier reported to be missing this morning. Israel continuing to hit targets in Gaza. The death toll in Gaza, according to reports, it topped 570. On the Israeli side, 27 dead, 25 soldiers, 2 civilians. And how about this? Happy birthday to Prince George, third in line for the British throne. He's a year old today, little Prince George. So they're all doing all kinds of things for him. Special pictures being released. The Royal Mint is apparently striking up a commemorative coin as well. First birthday for Prince George, so very happy about that.
Congrats.
Well, let's go back to the green room now. Andrew Dice Clay is with us, speaking of Prince George, with some thoughts on his little first birthday. Good morning, Dice.
Hey, I'm over here now.
Yeah.
So, what you want to talk about?
Prince George.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you told me he was ready, Bigfoot.
He is. We were just having an issue with the prompter. So he's all set now.
We'll do this later.
Oh, man.
13 after the hour. It's time
hear
for it's too. I mean,
he's all ready.
You guys are either ready to do this or not. But Rob and Tony are both fired. Get
No,
out of
they
the
were
studio,
ready.
or we'll
It
have
was
security.
us. They were ready.
You're fired then. You all three are fired. All three fat people are fired. It's
going to be
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's a good one.
Let's do
Come
sports.
on, we're ready. Let's do it.
I read the script.
And you still wanted to do it, but now you don't want to do it.
Are you ready to do it, Rob?
I'm ready to do it if they get the
do
right
it.
one in the prompter.
You fat bastard.
You old bastard.
Let's do it.
All right.
God, this is going to be
So it's like a national holiday over in England because it's Prince George's birthday. Could we roll the prompter?
Oh, no, that's it. What's the matter with you? I mean, honest to God. 14 after the hour, time little business is. And here with that is Dagan McDowell. Morning, Dagan.
Good morning, sir. Dow futures are up 46 points, and here's
Are you kidding me?
Here's a story to lift you up. Johns Hopkins, the health system, has agreed to pay a settlement of $190 million to up to 8,000 patients of a gynecologist who secretly took photos and videos of these women during pelvic exams. The doctor, Nikita Levy, was using a pen-like camera around his neck. He got caught and fired about a year and a half ago, February of 2013, and then he killed himself shortly thereafter by putting a plastic bag over his head and filling it with helium. And to add, this is what's
Why?
Why did he kill himself? Because he got
why
caught.
are we doing this story?
Because it's one of the biggest settlements of its kind. It's Johns Hopkins paying $190 million to all these women, and there are 8,000 plaintiffs roughly in this class action suit that's been settled, but he didn't have that many photographs or videos. There were a little more than 1,000, but you can't tell who the women are. So they have to make this payout to all these additional women because they can't identify them. So by the face, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, why don't you explain it?
I love when she does
He wasn't filming their faces, let's put it that way.
16 after the hour. You know what I've noticed about Riedel on Hollywood and Vine is he only has one or two shirts. Are you aware of that?
No.
Well, we're going to be looking for it now.
He wears the same shirt pretty much. That white and red striped shirt that's... And then he's got one other shirt he wears.
Could be his lucky shirt. Could make him feel saucy. And he prefers that one.
Well, he's a print journalist.
Right. Yeah.
He really is.
Tough times.
That's, I don't know. That's a long day there with him. All right, time for sports, sponsored by Pearl's Boilers here with that.
Good guy.
17 after the hour. Yes, we like him. That's why he's on.
Clearly.
Here is Warner Wolf. Morning, Warner.
Morning, I-Man. 45,000 fans showed up at the stadium, and they saw the Yankees commit 5 errors. 3 by starter and loser Shane Green, 1 apiece by Derek Jeter and Brian Roberts. They lose to the last-place Rangers 4-2. Joe Girardi after the game.
It was an ugly game.
Yes, it was. Late game, the first-place Orioles beat the Angels. Big Papi hits number 452 and 453. Dodgers and Giants win. Nats win. Braves lose. Brewers win. Well, despite the Packers saying they don't plan to hold a Brett Favre Day at a home game this year, retiring as number 4 because they're afraid of crowd reaction and the 80,000 Green Bay fans who may boo Favre, Favre says, so what? So what that I played with 2 other teams? Let him boo. Invite me back and retire my jersey. And another case of why NFL players should stay out of bars. Titans rookie quarterback Zach Mettenberger from LSU having a drink at the Losers Most Wanted Bar and Grill in Nashville.
Yeah.
When a guy at the bar said to the 6'5", 230-pound Mittenberger, roll tide. Mittenberger then turned around and said, good luck with that. Then one of the guys suddenly sucker punched Mittenberger in the eye, ran out of the door, and was tackled by the bartenders. Mittenberger denies that he has a broken right hand. Now, here's a guy who was going to compete for the number 1 job.
Yeah.
And finally, I-Man.
Sure.
How about a shout-out to Matt Meany?
All right.
He's our new guy, replacing Guns and helping Bernie and myself. Terrific job on all the sound bites.
Where's Guns?
I don't know where he is.
Took a couple of
What
days
do you
off.
mean you don't know where he is?
He's in Cleveland.
Probably following some band or something.
Yeah.
It's 19 after the hour here on the
God knows.
Imus in the Morning program. All right, let's try it again.
All right.
Go team.
Go back in the green room where Dice is. Bigfoot, if it's the idiot, well, that's unfortunate.
Very much.
Is
No,
the
I'm
person
here.
running the teleprompter ready
all
to
set.
go? Rob, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Didn't you write this?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
What, do I got to commit it to memory?
But maybe you should. Anyway, here's Dice Clay. Prince George's first birthday. Boy, I bet this is really going to be great. Let's do it. Morning, Dice.
Why don't we play You Can't Be an Outlaw again?
All right,
So it's like a national holiday over in England.
Stop. 20 minutes after the hour
What?
here on the Imus in the Morning program.
I'm over here now.
This is the Morning program. Congressman Peter King is coming up. But before we get to that, it's time for a Bernie briefing, sponsored by My Pillow. And here with that, Bernard McGurk. What up, B?
Well, Chief, they legalized marijuana in the state of Washington, and last night, our friend Jimmy Kimmel, who returned to the airwaves, had this to say about that. You don't have it? Okay, no problem. Do you have any? Apparently, they.
What, hey, Bigfoot? Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
What is going on with you this morning?
I don't know. I'm not on my game today, I guess.
We can't get Rob up. I mean, well, Rob's trying to be funny and is not. That's one of his big problems. But then we can't. I mean, and now we. Don't you go over this stuff with Bernard ahead of time?
Yeah, we do. It's my fault. We're all set now.
Yeah, we have it now. Here's our boy, Jimmy Kimmel.
I used to live in Seattle. Back then, you couldn't even buy alcohol at the supermarket, but now you can buy pot. And while many are celebrating this breakthrough, or whatever you want to call it, it's resulted in trouble for at least one Washington resident.
Mike Boyer made the local news in Washington for being the first in line to buy legal pot at another dispensary. But when his boss heard about him smoking on TV, Boyer was asked to take a drug test.
As of 2:30 today, I am unemployed from that company.
All right, well. On the bright side, he's the new CEO of Doritos.
And our friend Mark Levin, boss, he eviscerated our other friend, Jon Stewart, over sympathizing with the Palestinians in the current conflict. Well, last night, Jon Stewart indirectly addressed that. Take a listen.
We'll start tonight in the Middle East, where Israel...
What? Israel isn't supposed to defend itself?
Oh, yeah, if Mexico bombed Texas, will we exercise
What other countries
restraint?
held to the same standard as Israel? People that want to destroy our terrorists? What's the matter with you? It's the only democracy in the Middle East, you
Self-hating Jew?
That was weird.
And then he moved on to the Ukraine.
Is he ready, Bernie?
Right now.
Yes, he is.
Please welcome. Now, I was thinking about him the other day. I saw him on something. I wondered why he hadn't been on in a while, but I didn't wonder that much about it. But here he is this morning, Congressman Peter King. Good morning, Congressman King.
Morning, Don. How are you?
Why?
Why? Listen, all I know is you go 8, 9, 10 months, don't even have me on your show. I guess now your ratings are plummeting, and you want a superstar to come on to move you back up there.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, actually, a lot of my friends. I was talking to a good friend of mine, Tom Dewey, last night, the track coach for him. He said, "Why are you going on Imus' show? He only uses you when he needs you." And but again, I guess I'm a nice guy, and I like to be nice to the old and firm people. So I'm with you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So.
Well, it was from the heart.
So John Kerry's...
The reason one is because I love Bernard. He's a great guy, a wonderful human being, and I'm very sorry that I no longer represent him. It's one of the privileges I had as a member of Congress is for 20 years I represented Bernard McGurk, but now they moved me away.
It would be helpful, Congressman King, if you didn't talk when I'm trying to talk. I was getting ready to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Then you have to blurt out this nonsense about Bernard, who never really liked you anyway,
No,
by
it's
the
not
way.
true.
So
long live the king.
Anyway.
Yes, Don.
World's a mess, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it really is.
Jesus. Did you think, now, Senator Kerry, well, Secretary Kerry now, these off-mic comments, somebody told me you thought it revealed how Secretary Kerry and the administration really feels about Israel. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, to me, it showed a real sarcasm toward Israel. He was basically belittling the fact that Israel has tried to do all it can to limit casualties. And what was the term he was using? Fine-tuned or...
Pinpoint. Pinpoint.
Yeah, he was making sarcastic remarks about Israel's pledge to keep civilian casualties low and to make this as quick and as efficient an attack as possible. And I just thought you shouldn't talk the way about an ally, and it shows to me an underlying cynicism toward the one ally we have in the region.
But wasn't it the Obama administration who sent Israel $1 billion to fund this Iron Dome anti-missile system, which, by the way, works and is saving hundreds of Israeli lives. How about that?
And I think I say the administration shows a very almost schizophrenic attitude toward Israel. Now, the Iron Dome, I mean, that also was heavily funded under President Bush, who was a very, very strong supporter of Israel. I'm not making this a partisan issue. What I'm saying is, though, from the time the president came in, and he was, I thought, acting in a very demeaning way toward Netanyahu. He was suggesting a moral equivalency between the Israelis and the Palestinians. And when you had those 3 Israeli kids who were kidnapped, the first thing President Obama said, he hopes that both sides would show restraint, as if there's an equivalency between Hamas and Israel, and there's not.
So you think that Secretary Kerry and the administration favors what, Palestine over Israel? Is that what you think?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that they.
Are you saying they don't like Jews? Are they anti-Semitic?
Now, why do you say that? That is such a horrible thing to say.
Well, I know it is, but
it's typical of you. No, seriously, Don, no. What I'm saying is that this administration has a very ambiguous attitude toward Israel. The way they treated Netanyahu, the way they suggest an equivalency between Hamas and the U.S., the way President Obama did his apology tour in 2009, in effect blaming the U.S. for many of the problems in the Middle East. He does not have the consistency of leadership, the clarity of leadership that is necessary. He has no anti-Semitic feelings, no anti-Jewish feelings, but he sees Israel, I believe, as being too aggressive in defending its rights. And he believes that somehow if we reach out the hand of friendship, if we just address some underlying social concerns that Hamas has, that it might be a way to bring peace. And I'm saying that I believe that's not the case. Hamas is dedicated to the destruction of Israel. And no matter what you give them, it won't be enough.
But you know, I was talking to somebody, I forget who it was now, about this. And we talk about this, and we've been talking about the Israelis and the Palestinians and the problems in the Middle East as long as I can remember.
Right.
And it never changes.
No, and I would say that while no one in the world is perfect, the fact is Israel holds itself to higher standards than any other country in the region by far, and that I say the underlying issue here is the Palestinians refusing to accept the existence of the State of Israel. Now, there has been a lot of success in other countries. Egypt has come to peace with Israel. Jordan has come to peace with Israel. Saudi Arabia is at peace with Israel. It's the Palestinians and groups like Hamas which refuse to do so. So it's not as hopeless as it seems. Yes, the fight's been going on between Israel and the Palestinians, but also, Don, you and I, certainly you are old enough to remember the fights between Egypt and Israel, Jordan and Israel. All that is in the past. They have very good working relationships. There's probably no country in the Middle East that's closer to Israel than Jordan. Egypt also has a very close relationship with Israel. So it can be done, but the Palestinians have never had the type of leadership that's necessary to go from being revolutionary to actually forming a country and governing. I was in Israel in 2005 when Sharon was pulling the Israeli troops and the Israeli settlers out of Gaza. That took a lot of guts on his part, and there's a lot of resistance from the settlers and other people in Israel, but he did it. And yet, in return for that, the Palestinians and certainly Hamas were unable to carry out a functioning state in Gaza. They had the opportunity, and they constantly screwed up.
We're talking with Congressman Peter King here on the Imus Morning Program. It actually makes some sense. So, 17:16 till the hour. This Malaysian jet that was shot down. What's your take on all that?
What are you talking about?
A Malaysian jet that was shot down.
Yeah. Yes. What's the question?
Well, the question is, what's your take on all this?
Oh, what's my take on it?
What did you think I said?
Well, again, you're sort of inaudible. That's why I'm wondering. But in any event, no, I would say that first of all, it shows what Putin is. That Putin, this is more than just a mistake. This isn't an argument over fishing rights or territorial rights. He gave the most sophisticated weaponry to a band of insurrectionists and separatists. I don't know of any other major power that's ever given that type of sophisticated weapons to basically a gang of outlaws. And so he has to bear responsibility when they shot down the commercial jet. That, to me, was, at the very least, criminal negligence on Putin's part, and it takes him out of the civilized world as far as world leaders are concerned. And I think we have to treat him as basically as an outlaw nation, and we have to there's several things we can do. One, we have to get the European allies lined up. I think David Cameron has done a great job over there, the Prime Minister in Great Britain, calling out these other Europeans who are basically useless when it comes to taking tough stands. And some of the things we can do immediately. One, we should deny Aeroflot landing rights in the U.S. and throughout Europe. That would have an economic message and also a very symbolic message. We should make every effort to keep the World Cup from going to Moscow in 2018. That means a lot to Putin, the way the Olympics did. Also, we should be sending, I believe, weaponry to the Ukrainians so they can defend themselves, and we should be renewing our commitment by increasing training exercises with countries like Poland, the Czech Republic, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, to tell Putin that this isn't just sort of like give and take. It's not tit for tat. He has crossed a red line. This is a game changer, and we have to isolate him, I believe, and so he withdraws all our weaponry from eastern Ukraine, and so he stops supporting those guerrillas in Ukraine and recognizes the legitimacy of the Ukrainian government.
But I wonder, what's the point of other than the fact that we should impose sanctions, but in a greater scheme of things, what's the point of us imposing these tough sanctions? And Obama imposed more sanctions the day before the plane was shut down if we can't get the Europeans to get tough. I understand England may have gotten a little tough, but most of them won't.
No, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's important for the president to show real leadership and to get David Cameron to continue doing what he's doing. And if nothing else, embarrass these countries into taking action. I mean, it's Europeans that were killed on this plane, a large number of Europeans. And if that doesn't get them to move, I don't know what does. And that's why I think it was wrong for the president when that plane was shot down to make just a casual mention of it in his Delaware speech and then go on to New York to do the fundraisers. It would have been symbolically important, and that would have generated, I think, world attention and focused world attention if he had gone back to the White House and made a clear address to the nation and the world that this was a game-changing event, and if he at that time called on European leaders to join him in opposing these severe sanctions on Putin. Otherwise, with all the events of the world going on, there's a chance this will be forgotten in a week or two. He should have focused. He should have used that as an opportunity to really focus like a laser on this, instead of just basically almost casually passing it off, as far as the public was concerned.
Always nice to talk with you, although I felt that this was kind of a contentious conversation. I'm not feeling the love from you, so.
No, I don't feel good about this. I am probably the best guest you've ever had on the show, and yet you let me go for 8 or 9 months. You ignore me, you forget about me, and then you're in trouble with your ratings. You call me back to help you out. I'm only your friend when you need me. Other than that, it's just all for you. And if it wasn't for Bernard, I wouldn't have come on the show.
Yeah.
But when I become president, I'll still come on your show.
When you become president, I'll be the Pope. I mean, what have you lost your mind? When you become president, oh my God!
There'll
be black smoke coming out of the Vatican.
Obey his popham.
Thank you, Congressman King.
Don, it's always a pleasure, it really is.
Stop drinking, would you, for your program?
Yeah.
King actually is a pretty good guest, isn't he?
I think he's fantastic. He's got gravitas, and he's very funny.
That's what I mean. He has a good sense of humor and willing to fool around a little bit.
No doubt.
Well, and he did made a little. I was kind of surprised how informed he was.
Well, I mean, he's been.
Doesn't seem like that bright a guy to me, but apparently he is. So.
I know the man's just jesting right now.
Hollywood and Vine's coming up. Pretty funny version of that. Tomorrow, Father Jonathan Morris would torment him about the Pope and all that.
Sounds like a
And
plan.
then the Blonde Babes will be on. So that's the reason. That's the reason to watch this. Listen to it and all that. 5 till the hour. Dwayne Allman, who was killed in a motorcycle accident, I believe he was just 24, was one of the great guitar players ever, I believe. So good that he quit high school, I believe, just to stay home and practice. Figure it out, you know. So he was so good, he was playing on all these records that they were doing down there at Muscle Shoals, you know, and other places. records by Aretha Franklin and all these other people. So, and he played on, Wilson Pickett did a version of Hey Jude. And generally, Wilson Pickett can take a song and ruin it by screaming, which is what he's most famous for. He had a couple of hits, and then everything else he ruined by screaming for no reason. So, but it's not a bad version of Hey Jude. But and Duane Allman played guitar on it. And they say that the guitar solo at the end of this Hey Jude was so impressive. Is that you, Warner?
No, wait a minute. Wow.
Did you want something, Warner?
No, sorry.
We're keeping you up.
They're keeping you up?
No, I was asking. I didn't realize a mic. I was asking.
Well, why don't you shut the mic off?
That's right.
Good plan. Excellent plan. Could have been a lot worse.
Oh my God, my mind's reeling with what could have happened.
No,
He's really enjoying this story.
So you don't want to hear about Duane Allman, huh?
No, it had nothing to do with that.
Oh,
I was asking Guns.
How much longer is this going on, guys?
No.
Oh, it's going to be a rodeo. God.
Wilson Pickett and Duane Allman. Wow, what?
Hoagie Carmichael's
So
name.
apparently,
When Kim Jong-un's uncle, he dragged him out of their so-called parliament and had him executed. Well, it turns out, according to an influential Chinese newspaper, that he actually took his uncle and 5 of his flunkies and he threw them in a cage with a pack of 120 ravenous dogs. And about 300 members of the government just sat around and watched them eat these 6 people for about an hour. God. This is true. The guy was convicted of treason, and he was denounced as despicable.
There's no football on. What can we want?
Despicable human scum. The good news there is that there are actually dogs left in North Korea, I guess. But good news.
The bright side of every story.
It's all ass backwards now. They're feeding the people to the dogs.